Well, back for more, huh? I know. You're welcome. Charlie Greer podcast. Again, today, we're doing a little bit of paranormal Bigfoot. Why? See? And you may ask, what is a Bigfoot? Well, it's a mythical man beast to woman beast, but non-binary beast. I don't know how he identifies, but yeah, Bigfoot. Before I start, I just want to say I didn't see anything. This is more, So I'm like 14 years old, and I get invited my friend invites me to go with him and his father, uh, I guess canoeing or whatever down the Current River in Missouri. I'll go. I was 14. Sounds cool to me. We were 14, man. We were like sneaking cigarettes. Hey. So we get there, and we get to the campsite. Starting to get dark. It's at dusk, And there's a lot of people at the campsite and a lot of goings on. Like, see, And we got our stuff together, and there was a bunch of people. And again, 14-year-old kids, we want to sneak off and do whatever we're going to do, smoke cigarette. That's what we're wanting to do. Go far away enough to smoke some cigarettes. And so we got past the campsite, got into the woods, and it was like tree, but it was, these trees, it wasn't like too dense. I mean, it got darker, but there wasn't that many limbs. These are big trees. And we got far enough that we could see the lights. We want to get far away. And we got to this, like a ledge, like it kind of went down, like this hill started. And we're going, and we look down, and we can see like the hill, and then there's like this small platform. We're like, wow, man, we could and there was a tree, and then they had like roots, it's kind of going downhill, so we could hold the root. We kind of went down and got on this platform. We're like, perfect area. By then it was dark. I mean, it hadn't gotten dark yet, but in that canopy, it's dark. So we're standing on this ledge. We think it's a ledge, like a natural thing. And we light up our cigarettes, and we're kind of like standing there, and then we felt a shift, like a big shift. And we're looking down. And before I could say anything, my friend took his foot and like stomped the top of the ledge or whatever we were on. It was made out of mud, it was like dirt, and we just thought it was like a ledge. But as soon as he did that, I'm looking around, it looks like it's built on the hill, like it looks like a mud hut, like we're standing on, like what the, and he hits that, and man, this, whatever it was, sounded like a lion, a gorilla, it just like loud. I'd never heard anything that loud. And I could feel it, and I could feel it take off. Like it went out. I didn't see anything because the thing was kind of long. It barreled down that hill, like at speeds of it just sounded like I don't even know, like a car going through the, I don't even know, a tractor, just, and we're kind of in shock. Then we get back up the hill, and we run into these dudes, like these park ranger guys, these older, like, what did you guys do? Where you guys been at? Man, we were just over there. We thought it was a bear or something. We stood on it, and there's like, well, get back to camp. So we get back to camp, and man, I don't know if we had missing time or something, but people are going to bed. It's totally in the night. Like all the action going on, and people drinking beers, and the radio boom boxes playing music. Hey, and they're fishing pole. People were trying to go to bed. Like, what the fuck, And his father's like, where y'all been? We thought we'd been gone like 5-10 minutes. I don't know. Again, at the time, I wasn't even thinking. I didn't know anything about a Bigfoot. Again, I didn't see anything. I might have seen, like, In Search Of, one of those movies where they show the 70s Bigfoot walking or whatever. If that's a Bigfoot, I don't know. And I was disoriented, like, oh, what is going on, you know? But I remember we just went like directly to bed. Next morning, we're up at the crack of dawn. We're getting in, and we're in certain groups to go canoeing. And so we get in the canoe. They drive us down. We take a bus down to this like launching area, and people are going. And there's groups, so they like maybe 5 people. Then they let them go a bit, and another 5. And you can see the people ahead of you. It kind of curves, so you might like not see them. But so we're on there. We're doing our thing. It's a beautiful day, man. It's just like, hey, and we're going along. And I remember I saw the last canoe in the group in front of us turn like this bend. And the first thing that I realized was this like ringing in my ears, and my tongue kind of felt thick. I started getting disoriented. Then I realized I couldn't hear anything besides this, whatever. And I couldn't talk. I was like paralyzed. I said, and then we turned the bend, and there's the biggest tree. Freshly, like it was pushed, it was across the river. I mean, this thing was huge. It couldn't have been there when they turned. The other people went through. It was just right there. We didn't have time to. I was like, I couldn't, So I just hit the tree. I'm sitting up, boom, knocked everything, knocked us all over. Then when I hit the water, it kind of crunches me up, like my knees are up against my chest, like I'm in this ball and going through the current river. And it was cold. I don't remember we did this in spring or what, but the water froze. I was stuck, like I was paralyzed, I was basically, how you sit in a canoe? That's kind of how I was. I just couldn't move. And I could see the water and all the, the rushing, the current river is, it was happening. So I was taking in water. I thought, I'm 14. I just thought like, man, I'm going to die. Like I was freaking out. And I felt this huge hand, like something grabbed me and threw me up on this rocky bank. Like it was stones like this big, bigger, it wasn't sand. It was boom. And I landed and I came to, and I'm like spitting up water, like, crazy. My buddy was out of the water too. But I was like, I don't know if I was in shock, whatever. I was laying there. So here comes the 2 dudes that we saw. And then these other guys, 2 guys had rifles. These are old dudes, like hunters, like, but I knew they weren't hunting because they had all these chain, like keys, I mean, you can walk around the woods with that. They might've had a bat, whatever was going on, but they were there quick, like, and then another guy, I guess the person that's running like the canoeing was like, what did you guys do? What's going on, And I was just, again, like, how did that tree fall? How did it not? Did you hear anything? Nobody heard anything. How did they get there so fast? How did they, were they tracking? These older 2 dudes, they were like, hey, push the other guy away. And like, look, we're authority, whatever. And wanted to talk to me. And I told him, I said, man, my buddy, this big hand, because my buddy was kind of big. He grabbed me and saved me. And they're like, no, he didn't. And he was like, yeah, I didn't, and we were kind of far away, maybe 20 yards from each other on the back, I said, no, this big hand, and they're like, big hand, that just grabbed me and like threw me. So it was done with. It was over. I mean, people are pissed. Like his dad's pissed. He's pissed. My buddy's pissed at me for some. Like, what? What do you mean? You could have dunked under the tree, dude. The tree was crying. You couldn't even. What are you talking about? Like this is somehow my fault. And I'm all wet, they lost, like his dad was like, we lost those binoculars. They cost me $200. Like, okay, the company had lost like some like oars and whatever the hell they provide, most of it was gone. And I still was kind of just like, So again, everybody was just pissed. And how people have to blame and shame and whatever, So on the ride down there, his dad, he had a station wagon. His dad sat up front by himself, and me and my buddy sat in the back. We're well going home once everything was, no, they were sitting up front. I was in back by myself, and they're looking back at me like, what do you mean would I, fuck you guys. You're a bunch of dumbasses. But I clearly remember getting home around evening, right before it got dark, like 4 or 5, and the light scene changed. Like my house looked a little different. I realized like something's changed. Like, even back then I thought, man, have I aged? Have I matured? Like something had, it was just different. And him and I never were, show me, we were neighbors basically, and we never talked about it. He never would, he didn't want to talk about it. And again, I wasn't thinking like Bigfoot. I wasn't thinking about like, mythical man beast. No, I wouldn't. I just thought like, man, the hand of God, I don't know. Because I tried to say, like, man, if you didn't grab me, who did? Oh, okay. And I kind of forgot, but it was always on my mind. It's strange when things, this is like in 85 or 86. So this is kind of how I'm just going to tell you, because this is crazy, but it kind of gets paranormal like years later, like 30 years. So it happened in 84, 85. I haven't really thought about, what it had. Again, I've had so much life experience. I've lived a lot, But this was around 2000, maybe 18. So from 1984, 85 to 2018, I'm living in Los Angeles. I have a room that's at the back of the house. That's literally like outside the house. There's maybe 4 feet, 5 feet of yard, then a wooden fence, and then it's this alley, like an LA alley that's busy. People run, you don't want to be out there, spray painting, and God, you just never know what you're gonna, So I could hear, it was right in this little room, this house, this wood, no insulation, just you could hear you'd hear people walking. Being there for 6 years, I could tell where they're at, where, you can hear, it sounded like they're in your room. So I was taking a nap. I forgot what I was doing, but maybe it was maybe 6 or 7. It started getting dark, whatever, but I was like, I'll just lay down for half an hour. And again, this is hard for me to say because it's just, again, I don't know how to explain it, but it happened. So I'm laying there and I'm about to go to sleep, and then my tongue, I hear this ringing and then it brings it. I know exactly. I'm like, holy shit. Again, it's so hard to explain this, but I got back into that, and I was paralyzed, laying there, couldn't move, like that's a cold sweat, like laying there. Then I heard something in the alley. I could sense it. I could feel like, and it rained, so it must have been like doing this because I could hear its feet, in the water, and I could sense it. I mean, literally, it's like 5, 6 feet from my wall, and this wall, these walls were so small, no insulation. Then I hear, like a hey, or like a, and I'm so scared. And then this thing, I don't know, telepathy, mind speak, whatever they call this, they put an image of what I could see in my mind. I could see this big fucking hairy ass thing standing in the alley, and he's telling me like, hey, I'm that, why he didn't tell me. I mean, it was weird. And it was a he. And he said, it was like, again, he wasn't speaking, but it was just like, I'm a vindictive dude. I remember, that you can't hide from me. I can teleport, whatever. I've gotten into I've matured enough where I'm in this, now I can do what I want to do. And I'm making an example out of everybody that kind of mess with me. And he was basically telling me he was pissed that we stomped on, I'm not kidding you. And I'm laying there, I think I'm going crazy, man. Again, I couldn't get up to see it, and I can't explain this mind speak, telepathy, kind of whatever. But in my mind, I could see him. I could smell. So over, bam, gone. Like he showed up to this. What the fuck is it, huh? What the hell? And I was terrified. Like, what am I gonna? I'm not gonna tell anybody that what you know. Goop 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 goop. Uh, and it happened again. Maybe like a week later, happened again. Yeah. Again, I'd be laying there. I can't move, can't speak, and this thing would like be or dimensional, whatever the hell it is. Like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm going crazy, man. I'm going fucking crazy. And I remember again, it brought up this from the 80s going to Current River. So it calmed down a bit. And then I had, that room was a small room that had a bigger room. And I would rent out the bigger room to other people and charge them more. So it's an LA trick. You go, hey, you got the big room, you pay X amount. Everybody does it. So I'd have tenants in the big room. I never stayed in my room anyway. So it's like, I only slept there. But I had to get a new roommate. I was like, you know what? I'll just split the rent even. I will take the big room. Who gives a shit? They can take the small. So I moved into the big room. And this new tenant moved into my back room. And I kind of forgot about the crazy paranormal. And what am I going to tell him? Hey, by the way, be careful when you're in, because, So maybe a week or two, because he only stayed like 1 month. He didn't finish out the month. So I'm taking a nap. I'm older now. I take naps. Taking a nap. He's home again about the same time, and it happens. But I'm in a different room. I'm in the back, the side of the house, in the front, near the front. And I'm laying there and get shot, and I hear, ugh. And then I almost hear like I was kind of, even though I was scared, I was kind of laughing to myself, like, dude, I've moved. If you're so paranormal, how did you not know? Whatever. But it was like cold sweat, laying there paralyzed, and then you come back, And what am I gonna? I thought, damn, man, I wonder what, dude. Well, the next day, because I didn't see him. He'd be in his room, whatever. The next day, he's moving out. Matter of fact, by the time I figured out, he's like, "Oh, I'm gone." No, I put a down payment on a condo, and then bye. And then I thought, should I ask him if he? No, I ain't gonna. I don't want to. Then I'm wondering, like, what the hell happened to him? Did he have something? Did he? The same thing happened to him. So time goes by, and then I want to switch out rooms again because I want to pay. The LA room trip. You rent a house in LA, 2-bedroom, take the small room, charge more for the big room, and it makes your rent cheaper instead of doing it split. Everybody does it. That's what you do. And then if you got like rent control, you can, and you got the place for a while. That's what we do. And I wouldn't outcharge. As a matter of fact, I was under cutting everybody because So I get a new roommate. Like, yeah, I'll put him in the big room. I'll move back into the small room. Now this is where it gets friggin' weird, man. I don't like to talk about this, but it happened. Again, I don't think I was napping. I think I was just sleeping. It was at night. So I'm sleeping. I wake myself up because I'm like talking and I'm doing some kind of like some kind of chattering, talking in tongues. I don't need. The strange thing is I've heard it. Like I think it's called the Sierra sounds, where they had like they think they're this chattering. What I was doing that, and I was lifted up like my body was flat, then my head, my body, and my neck was bent back. I wasn't floating because my legs were down, but I was like kind of like elevated, my head back, And I thought, what the fuck? And I fell. And I'm laying there and I can't, move. And then another being, or what, this was a female. And I literally, again, they weren't talking to me. I didn't see anything. It was like mind speak, telepathy, whatever the hell. I mean, it's hard to explain. And she literally, like, those things that she said, look, I'm sorry I have to do this. But she said that my son, the one that's been bugging you, has got to the age where he can, he got his paranormal power or whatever, and he's kind of been whatever. So I had to come and rewire your brain. So I had to do it through your speech. Don't think that you're like possessed. This is not a demon. I'm laying like what, and I can hear that. I mean, again, I'm laying and I could. She was the mother or whatever, and she apologized. Yeah, he's sorry about that. He'll leave you alone. But I had to do this, and I want you to know, so you're not going to go crazy, that I had to rewire. I had to use your speech. Because I thought it was like demonic. Like, what the fuck? Like speaking so fast that it just, and crazy cackling, And so I thought I was, bro, well, what happened to me? What did I do? Did I, have I been possessed? I mean, kind of voodoo magic. So I got online, I started researching, like, man, I got to talk to somebody about this, but I don't want to. So the more, and I used to listen to all kinds of podcasts, paranormal, true crime, music, politics, you name it, history. A lot of times I'll play a podcast and just lay in bed and listen to it while I'm going to bed. So I'd listen to Bigfoot podcast, and I found I was looking around, I found I'm not going to name who it is, but I found like the source, the dude that has a lot of, and he had a number. I thought, man, should I call this number? I'll call and I'll leave him a message. Well, I call. He answers like on the second ring. Hello, this is, yeah. I was like, look, can I use a fake name even to you? Yeah, okay. I like use the name Bill or whatever. I started telling my story, and it was upsetting me. And he goes, look, I'm going to stop you right there, man. I thought he was going to cut me off. He goes, I've heard this story from other people, from all walks of life. I just want to let you know that this is not unique. That's why I'm telling you're not lying. So please come on. No, you got to be on the show. You can use a different name. We'll use a voice. I got to change your voice. And I was like, no, man, I don't want that kind of attention. Like, hey, I'm on the Bigfoot podcast. No. Because at the end of the day, we're all looking for acceptance and attention. I don't want any of that kind. I don't want to be, that's that dude, And of course, now I'm telling it on my podcast. I'm like, but this is kind of like therapy for me, my podcast. I'm going to be honest, truthful, humble. Why not? Nobody's watching this anyway. So that's kind of another reason why. So he was related. We talked for like 2 hours. And he's like, call back, if you're going to, and I did. I called again because we talked for another hour or whatever. And I never, he was just like, dude, you got to tell it. You've got to. And I told him, like, hey, can you I want to talk to someone else, but they didn't want to talk. They were like me. And another thing, the people that had this story were doing the same thing as me. Want to use a fake name. Not one of you hadn't told their wife. They had to get off their chest. Hunters, people that, mountain bikers, people that walk the trail, whatever the hell, trailblazers, I don't know, just like all walks of life. But they had the same kind of thing where it kind of, was paranormal. Like, what the fuck is this thing? And again, I never saw him besides he put that picture in my mind of him this thing was huge. Like, his chest was probably 5 or 6 feet wide. He must have been 12 foot tall or something. I don't know. I'm just huge. Again, I only saw him in my mind. He put this, it's hard to explain, like the telepathy, telekinesis, mind speak, whatever you want to call it. But since then, this is like 4 years ago, it has, I have not thought about it, and it hadn't happened again. And also, it's like it almost alleviated. Maybe I had anxiety from that or something, like man, that traumatic, because it was a trauma. It's gone. I don't have any of the. So thanks, Mama Bigfoot, because that's what she said. She was the mother, or her son. She said. Then I'm thinking, wait a minute, did it take him 30 years to mature to get to they have these powers, and then he's not supposed to, because she was saying like there's rules that you can't, he's not supposed to teleport or whatever the hell he did. How the fuck did he find me? Like 30 something years later, like what the fuck? Excuse my friend, but hey, and there's got to be others. I mean, I would love to like sit down and have a beer with someone who's experienced this. And this is why people don't want to talk about it, because it makes you look dumb. I'm an artist, man. I'm into like create. I'm not a, paranormal. I mean, I like listening, but I ain't gonna, I don't have a podcast, I mean, I do have a podcast, but I'm not like into that. People like go deep dive it. I'm not that, dude. I like to play guitar and paint, sing, I'm not, but I know for a fact, again, I'm going to be honest. And a lot of people have probably had even weirder shit they don't want to talk about. And then it affects them. See, again, you close your mind up and that causes anxiety you don't even know about. It's like neural pathways or whatever. She said she had to change mine. And I don't know, when I was talking or speaking into whatever it was. But it happened. And I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody. Again, even when I called this Bigfoot guru guy, I still didn't. And then I tried to tell a friend in Los Angeles, and he just said, "No, I'm gonna cut you off." That this. Then I finally told it to a friend here when I moved back, one of my good friends, and he listened. I mean, he listened. He was cool about it. He's got an open mind. He's smart. Hey, you got to tell this when you start your podcast. You have to be the first. I go, no, man, I'm never gonna. No, you got to. And he's been no, you got to tell that story. So here I am telling the story about this paranormal, mythical man beast, this crazy teleporting. Huh? Exactly. Everybody's a little crazy, but man, come on. Like it's hard for me to wrap my head around this. And the reason I'm doing this is, for one, to get it off my chest, like it's therapy. And two, maybe somebody comment if you have, comment and say like, look, man, I was hunting in a deer stand and let me know. I need to know. But there's got to be, again, somebody will come across this, whatever. And I get, when the dude that I talked to said, "Dude, Charlie, I've heard this before. I've heard," again, he talks to people every day. He's got, he's been doing this for years. He got a database of every kind of, but he was like, "Yo, yeah, get on my website and go to YouTube." And I tried to go down that rabbit hole, but his episodes are long. They're like 2 hours. They don't really say, so I never did find. I did come across where people said a ringing in their ears, they couldn't hear, or it went silent. Maybe that's the same thing. So yeah, I'm curious if there's anybody that's got the guts to contact me and say, "Hey man, I had a," and also I'm in Illinois. So if you're around here, I'll buy you a beer. Book of bits. We, and actually telling this, I'm not as embarrassed as I thought I would be. I mean, I thought, oh my God, am I going to be able to? And I was fighting earlier before I came to do that. I was like, should I? And I said, no, just do it. What do you know? maybe somebody will contact me and tell their story. Or if you've been around the Current River, is that a hot spot for Sasquatch or whatever they are? Maybe it is. Because I did one time here, I listed somebody talking about seeing something around the current river, but I fell asleep before I could finish it, and I was like, all right, it was already. I don't want to, I'm not going to dawn on the. So yeah, if you have, let me know. If you know someone, hey, send me your email, whatever. If you're in Illinois, is there a Bigfoot therapy group around here I could go to? Again, I don't. It's gotten better. I didn't even know that because it was a traumatic event, almost dying in the current river, almost drowning. That stuck with me. My whole, you know what I mean? You might dawn, whatever, oh, scary thing. You know what I mean? It's in the back of your head. It causes anxiety. There's something, it changes you a bit. You're not as, part of my youth was gone, like it, um, again, it's hard to explain, especially after 30 years and all that paranormal, like what, why do because we stomped on your mud hut or what? Because and good thing I didn't see this, that maybe you know, yeah, it's a mysterious world full of strange and unusual. So let me know. I love all y'all. There's nobody like him, but whoever's watching, I love you. And be blessed. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.